Anne Sylvian. Anne Sylvian was born on April 14, 1866, in Feeding Hills, Massachusetts. She was born to Irish immigrant farmers. She had one brother, Jimmy, who was crippled from tuberculosis. Anne's family was extremely poor, and her father was alcoholic and abusive. When she was 5 years old, Anne got a serious eye infection that left her almost completely blind. Her mother died 2 years later, and her father put both of the children in an orphanage. Her brother died shortly after being placed in the orphanage. When the head of the orphanage came to visit, Anne pleaded and begged him to let her go to school. She was allowed to go to school, and after a few operations, she gained some of her vision and managed to graduate at the top of her class from the Perkins Institute for the Blind. Anne began some of the most important work when she was called on to tutor a young blind and deaf girl named Helen Keller. Helen was 7 years old and very undisciplined. Anne had to teach her obedience before anything else. A breakthrough finally happened, and Anne was able to teach Helen to read words using Braille and the manual alphabet. Anne helped Helen to go on to accomplish great things. Both Anne and Helen were invited to make speeches all over the world. Anne's work had a lasting impact on Helen and the others, including both blind and sighted people. She continues to be an inspiration. A time of reform. The early 19,000s were the time of reform in the United States. There were many great things about the country, but there were some problems as well. A group of people who wanted to make changes during this time were called progressives. Many of the city and state governments were corrupt and dishonest. The progressives wanted to change their leaders. Theodore Roosevelt, who was vice president at the time, was one of the leaders of this reform. He worked with others to change the type of people that were elected to office. They were successful. Led by new leaders, many cities were not able to pass new laws that made life better. These cities built schools, parks, and playgrounds. They also built better housing for families. State governments also worked for change. They passed laws that make large companies pay their fair share of taxes. They put a limit on the amount of money they could charge customers for things. With these new changes, the quality of life continued to improve for people. Theodore Roosevelt eventually became President of the United States upon the assassination of President William McKinley. He continued to work for changes and improvements